tentative budget hearing, and I'm going to ask you to stand, pledge of allegiance.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Approval of the agenda. I am going to pull number 4 for possible action because this is a hearing and we're going to move, well, it doesn't really require approval. I mean, well, you know what, we'll leave it. Yeah. No, we'll leave it. So the agenda will stand as stated. Okay. General public comment of 3 minutes per person. Action will not be taken on matters considered during this period until specifically included on an agenda as an action item. First, state and spell your last name. Seeing no public comment, I'm closing public comment. Okay, for possible action, discussion and deliberation to approve, deny, or make recommendations for changes for final budget approval on May 23rd. For the town of Amargosa Valley budget for fiscal year 2024-25. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to proceed per the agenda item.
I'll second. Thank you. Okay, Mike, take it away.
Okay. So we will review our tentative budget. I'll explain to you how we got there with these numbers. We do have our approval back from the State Department of Taxation, and basically what this is that we got the numbers in the right place. The thing balances, everything is kind of where it's supposed to be. The way we do this is the audit is what, we'll just go to the first page. The audit gives us our starting balances for this next year, all of our fund balances, and then our revenue comes out of the tax projections that we get from the state. So we put those things in there, then we estimate what our expenditures are going to be, what they've been for this year, put the expenditures in that came off the audit, and basically we end up this year with an ending fund balance. So we know what our starting balance is going to be for the next year, and then we add our revenue, take away our projections, end up with an ending fund balance, and then do it for the year after that. So that there's a pretty basic formula. So DTAX has looked at what we submitted. So we'll start with the first page. It just shows that we have got 6 funds. Property tax revenue, thank goodness it went up this year to $338,699. And for the tentative budget, we had a total of $1,400,000 of estimated expenditures. Now that is across all 6 funds that we work out of, and that's okay. And all the 4 funds that are the PSST and the room tax funds, we have to literally create an expenditure for the full amount so that we have the ability to use it if we want to. Not saying we're going to spend it, that's why we have to, that's why that number is so high. Well, we've got projected revenue a shade over $500,000. You know, that's why that looks so high. Page 2 has, employees, stuff from property values and stuff, and the number of people that live here or going to live here. For some reason, they say that's going up quite a bit. So on page 5 is our go to page 4. Page 4 is our Schedule A. This is our estimated revenue. So you see we have a beginning fund balance. Column 2 is consolidated tax. 3 is property tax. Our tax rate. Our tax rate of 0.4949 is the highest in the county. Just to give you that little deal. Other revenue is $37,900 is what we take in from renting this place out, donations, things like that. So it would give us a total of $1,432,022 total to work with. And I'm not going to go through each one of them, but you'll see the next one is room tax, revenue of about $38,000, tourism, that's for the park. Economic development is $57,000. The two PSST accounts about $74 each, and capital projects about $500. And the vertical and the horizontal columns all line up.
I have a question about the PSST.
Yeah.
Is that 125 just already out, or is it
It's going to come out of there. No, it's not out yet. No, it won't go out until we actually buy it. You know, we just made sure that we had the money in there and we had it allocated, and we did. Okay, I got things out of sync. Okay, page 5 is our estimated expenditures. So you see column 1 is salaries and wages, 2 is benefits, 3 is supplies, capital outlays. That is where the PSST, you'll see the first one's the sheriff. We have not heard from the sheriff at all. This is an estimate of what they're going to do. The PSST for the fire department is $150,000, and then the capital projects is $25,000. Ends up with an ending fund balance, and then you'll see that the very right lower numbers balance between pages 4 and 5. Those work out. Okay. And then the rest of them are just, so page 6, this is how you'll see the equation works. So column 1, which is actual prior year ending 6/30/23, this is what comes right off the audit. So I take the audit figures, enter those in there. Column 2 is what I estimate. We used our current expenditure status report, estimate where we are for the year, where we're going to be by the end of the year, which is the end of next month, and then kind of estimate what we're going to do next year. So that's how that equation works. And we take these numbers forward and back and so forth, and that's how that works. Then the expenditures by function is page 8. And so that you can see that just a real quick look here on how tight we are. If you look at page 6, column 3, we've got revenue at $585,133, and we have projected expenditures at $575. So it's pretty tight. So the things that, thank goodness, property tax came in high. We actually made a little bit of money off the net proceeds of mines this year, but we still lost $13,000 on our investments. And we are trying to see what we can do with the county to get that money moved. We'd be better off if we had it in a can in the backyard than, the year before we lost 100 across all 6 accounts. This year we lose 13 and change. I mean, $13,000 is our electricity bill for 2 months. I mean, that's a chunk of change for us. The things that hopefully will help us, give us a little bit of edge going in next year is that Acres comes into operation. I talked to John. He always honored that ordinance, and I'll get him in here soon, or one of his representatives, to go to the planning department and then come to the town board. So hopefully with his plans, it will give us a little $50,000 or $60,000 cushion, which would be a real help. Okay, going to page 10. These are this is the room tax park. So of the 7% that people that fall into that, which is if they stay less than 28 days, there's a 7% charge to them. 1% goes to the state. There's 6% comes to the town. And out of that 60% goes into economic tourism and economic development, and the other 40% goes to park programs. So that's how that gets split. So you'll see that the best thing to look at there is just the ending fund balance at the very bottom of the right-hand column. So for the park, we're going to end up with 256 in that. In the transient room tax, about 360 is what that total is. That's available to us. The public safety, which is fire, total of 281, 248 is available, and the sheriff is 168, 227. He doesn't communicate with us. So, any questions? I mean, that's kind of quick. Yes.
Dave Hall for the record. Mike, could you explain to me how, we're looking at 2024, correct? And so
24, 25, yeah.
2024. And so we don't know how much we're going to lose on investments.
No, I just stepped in.
So you sandbag that so that we're covered, correct? Because in 2024, everything looks like it's ahead 13%. Now, hopefully, whatever the county's doing, they're smart enough to figure out where to put that money that gets at least a 10% return.
Well, we have not seen that. How long have I been associated? Like 12 years now. And we went from a starting fund balance of 225 up to we're just shy of $1 million now. The most I think we ever did was a return of, I don't think we ever hit $10,000. Even since 16, we got to over 8, and even then, we never got more than 10 grand. So I don't know what they're doing with it.
Okay, so that was just, hoping,
Hoping we did.
you're taking the lean side just to make sure that we don't overspend, and hopefully we'll get that all come back.
Correct. Because if I had submitted this budget with expenditures exceeding revenue by a certain number,
Okay.
yeah, that was not a good thing. So no, yeah.
Okay,
I
perfect. No, I would have done the same thing, because I truly don't understand where they come up with their investments. And I don't know if there's a report that they generate to show you guys on a monthly basis how it's going or what they're doing, or, they just keep us in the dark and say, oh, by the end of the year, you owe us, $14,000.
Yeah, it's a crapshoot. It's just whatever comes up. I mean, we just now got our audit,
Right.
and it showed up in there, and that has to do with, the county struggling to get their books balanced. So,
Okay.
yeah, it is just, I guess I should be thankful it's a tenth of what it was 2 years ago.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
So we didn't get quite as bad.
Okay,
Still didn't get.
thank you.
Whatever.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to kind of cap on what Dave said and just update everybody. Everybody's been complaining to the county because we wanted to know who they're using and everything. So there was a meeting and a couple presentations, actually introductions from financial advisor companies. And they didn't do the presentation at the meeting. They have to do it to the commissioners. But presentations basically said, if we could do for you what we do for the other towns, because they're making money. And so I asked the question, who are you using? Well, they're using the free services of Wells Fargo, and I can't remember the other. And so, there's nobody really qualified, and, when you get what you pay for, and the presentations of what the numbers that they were saying that they could do, and I think they could, are impressive and need to be paid attention to. So we're going to keep the heat on the county to take this seriously, because just because they're not paying for something, they're losing exponentially every year, and so are we. And it is 10% of what we lost last year. It was 100.
We lost a shade over 100 on 900 in the bank, and we lost 100.
And I can't imagine, anybody's watching. It's a Vanguard account. You can move everything around, and nobody's doing that. I can guarantee it. So we're going to keep the pressure on them, as well as, that's a good question. What is the insurance premium in this?
Right now, budgeted, last year was 16 grand. That's what I got in there.
We have not gotten a bill, and just an FYI, they are self-insured now. We do not have pullback anymore. So I'm going to be trying to meet with Jake Skinner to see, what the heck. I mean, he's a risk assessment guy. And I need to know, some of the decisions that have been made, volunteers, and, have lost most of our volunteers for the sheriff's department. And I personally, I don't know if anybody else here, we don't know what coverage we have. And being self-insured, yes.
I request that you ask him what it would take to get life insurance for volunteers. I was surprised to find out.
Well, as a broker, I can tell you that firefighters are one of the most hard to cover. We can talk about that, what kind of life insurance. Is it accidental? What are you looking at? Because everybody's got to qualify. So, yeah, I'll ask him, but they're so top heavy. I mean, I'd love to get in there but I'll look into it. Okay, I'm sorry, Mike.
Well, that's okay. So when we did get our audit, we did end up with about $22,000 more in the bank than we had last year. So I was really concerned about that. So we ended up a little bit more than we had, so that was a plus. So if we can keep that going. So that is the tentative budget. The numbers are in the right, the numbers are in the right place. Revenue expenses are in line. The state thinks we're okay. Does anybody have any questions at this point on where we're at?
Would you like to share how we came up with $150,000 on capital outlay? I'm sorry, page 10. You have $150,000 on capital outlay. I know we went over some figures and.
Okay. Just an estimate. I had to come up with, I had a total of $256,592 to work with. So I estimated $50,000 in services and supplies, $150 for capital outlay. If there came across a project that, could fit into this, then we got $150 to work with. That was, just a guess.
I know we're having trouble with the bathroom, so if we had to pitch in, that would be part of that, right?
Yeah, we could use that if we needed to, if we could make that case.
Slow things down.
That's okay. Come up here, he's going to be on the record, please.
Because I'm having hearing aids.
Bruce Jensen, Jensen. Remember at the BOCC meeting when we were discussing grants for the restrooms, and they strictly guaranteed that they would have the money to take care of that for us? Let's not let them forget that.
We've got a list that reminds them, like a wish list.
They did say that they would cover our bathroom for us if we didn't get our grant. That would be in their 25, 26.
Yeah, this is 24, 25.
24, 25.
Yeah.
But they removed it from that tribal one.
It was community development block grant from the state, or actually from the federal government to the state, and we're a sub-recipient of that. Yeah.
Okay, so now we will discuss any changes for the final. We need to bring those up this evening, so I got time to rebalance, and reprint this thing. So I will tell you the changes that I have made, and then we can all make any suggestions and see where we go. So page 2, and everything will be in the very last column. This is on total employees, it's 3.5, not 4. So we've got that one fixed. And let's see, Brenda, you had some others.
It was just, I had a question on page 3, third column. It's supposed to be the total of M and N, and it's less than N. That's all.
Oh. Okay, I'll fix that.
Okay.
That's just, I look at numbers, I get a little
I know.
dyslexic.
I know.
I'll fix that. Okay. Okay, so then we go clear to, we did get finally got the bids in on the standby generator. So I had to adjust. Okay, so capital projects, I put the, you don't have that yet. I've got it. So on capital projects, I put the 200,000 in revenue that's coming, and the 200,000 coming out to pay for it. The total quote is 239, and so the other 39,000 is going to come out of that economic development account for the 239.
Is there any money there for maintenance of the generator? That kind of thing?
That's going to have to be an ongoing deal for the town. We'll have to, I'm sure there won't be any, we're down to, once we get this thing put in, and it's going to be a diesel power generator, not propane. They don't make propane ones that big. And so we're going to have to, once we get it in, coordinate with DEA and everybody get the thing installed. I really think we need to build a security protection enclosure around it. I really think it needs to be a block wall, you know, south and west sides, north and top and stuff could be chain link. And then we're going to have to come up with a routine on, these things have this self-service start function. You know, like once a week it'll fire up, but it's going to have to be part of our routine to check check the fluid levels, check the output, check all that stuff. That's, we have talked about if we finally get our act together, start growing a little bit and doing some stuff, there's more responsibility comes with that. And, you know, whoever's running the office at that time, it's just going to be another checklist for them. But it is big enough to power this whole area. So it will be the community center, the library, the clinic, the fire department, the ambulance hall, and the maintenance yard. And so we will have, we got 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We'll have between 13,500 and 14,000 square feet of air-conditioned space between here and all the rest of it. A little bit of medical facility at the clinic, and we'll have the well running at the maintenance yard. You know, we bring trailers up and tanks and stuff and get them here out. I can't hear you. Oh, and the fuel too. Yeah, we have the fuel for that. So those are my changes. Anybody have any others? And we can always, so the two things you can do, so you've seen us adjust expenditures going forward, so we can keep the numbers within line, because the DTEX gets a little worked up if you got negative amounts that you've overdrawn. We never overdraw an account. We may overdraw the expenditure, but we never overdraw the account. And so we just make those changes. We make one set, and we've got to make, I think, one more to get that to balance out. And if we need to spend more money, we can do a augmentation, that we can always step in and do that. So there are, you know, things aren't locked in stone. This gives us the guideline to follow and so forth. So there's a lot, step away just a little bit, a lot going on right now that could either have, we know there's going to be some negative effects. We are trying to put things in place to offset those. But we don't know yet where we're going to end up. So.
Going back to the generator and the service, is there a service agreement? I mean, what kind of, is there a warranty? And is there somebody that we can call that actually knows the generator and services it? I mean, on top of our weekly checks.
Oh, I'm sure, because we went with a company out of my county. not pro. You know, and it's a national name brand thing. We're not buying something off the dock someplace. So that's why it's taken the supply chain thing 34 weeks, 8 months to get this thing. That's why I had to put it in this budget, because it's going to be so deep into next year to get it done. So if there are no other changes, then the final budget will be with those numbers that I have just given you. Okay.
So I'll open it up for public comment on this. Anybody? Okay, because we're going to have the final budget hearing, and it should be, you know, you weren't here for the adjustments. You got nothing to say. Yeah.
Voice that deal.
And just make sure that, I don't know how to put it. I'm not going to say it. Anyway.
Can't hurt my feelings.
No.
Oh, okay.
All right, anyway. So nobody has anything? I'm going to, you do? Okay, I'm sorry.
One thing I had a question about on the budget is we are paying for an interim position that I'd like to make a long-term position rather than, so it shows up on the budget that we're like, not an interim, but my position, yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the town manager, we have got to make it a permanent position, and we need because we're having the two of them in the office. I met with both of them and said, you know, we need to do Becca's job description is by an artist, and then we add a few things to it. And then Mike's is, you know, we had something that was town administrator, but it was like, wait, you know, here, we need to bring it here. And, you know, when everybody that we've met with, they've been town managers, like in the solar and all that. So we need to rename the position and advertise for it. And so when we get through all of what we're going through right now, the budget, the lithium, solar, I mean, not through all of it, but just everything's accelerated recently. And I think we could probably do that in July. What do you think, Mike?
Sure.
Yeah. This will be,
Hire Jessica at the same time. She's not done, right?
yeah, she's got to, yeah. I mean, we need to know what the fire department wants to do. Are you gonna advertise? Are you going to, well,
As far as her position,
yeah, because she's filling in, and if, you know, we have to advertise, and I mean, to me, it's a foregone conclusion, but to do it the right way, we have to do that, even if it's just, yeah, we may not have anybody, you know, that applies, but we will have to do it that way. Anything else? Okay. Then I'm going to call for the vote. No? No, I didn't pull it because I left it because we wouldn't have anything to talk about. We need a motion.
Okay, I make a motion that we make the changes for the tentative budget as they have been presented, and so that we can vote on the final budget on Thursday, the 23rd.
I second that motion.
Okay. I'm going to call for the vote.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Thank you. I'm going to open it up for general public comment, up to 3-minute time limit per person. Action will not be taken on matters considered during this period unless specifically included on an agenda item. Anybody? Okay. Then I'm going to close public comment. Board member comments. This item is limited to announcements and topics proposed for future workshops and agendas.
None.
Sara? None. Brenda?
I'd like to do a workshop on the Clerk training, see where we can go as far as upgrades to the Clerk area. see, because we need more playground area, but we also need to figure out how we're gonna pay for it and how much money we have to spend for it.
Yeah, we didn't get to do the capital projects workshop, that's the same thing. Yeah,
Okay.
so, I mean, and we can concentrate on the part, all pieces and parts of this town. But, yeah, we need to reschedule the capital projects workshop.
And also upgrade the building here.
Okay. All right. I have no comments because we're gonna be doing this on Thursday, and I have plenty to say, and nobody's here, so, I mean,